Hey, what's cracking everybody? Welcome back to Computer Games Hardware. Today on the channel, we're taking a look at Enshrouded and giving our early access impressions on the game.
If this is to be the end, then I will tell them of the beginning, of how your spark was ignited, of your will to survive, of the power that flowed from within you into this enchanting realm of beauty and decay.
This title was developed by Keen Games, and they were kind enough to flick me over a code to check out Enshrouded and give off my first impressions. So big thank you to the team at Keen Games. Now, let's get talking about the game. This is a huge open world action RPG style game that takes elements from survival, crafting, building, and Souls-like games and throws them into an editable voxel world, so much so that my immediate impression was, oh, I'm playing The Legend of Enshrouded, Breath of the Valheim, Elden Mine that I've been crafting for a fortnight. So you might think that that's a bad thing, but I'm here to tell you that that's not the case. It's really got something for everybody. So if you like any of the games that I mentioned there, you're going to see lots of elements of those titles, but it's done in a way that it really works. And I'm not partial to a lot of those games, except for maybe the Legend of Zelda, but this game does it in a way that it's really pleasing and enjoyable to play. Enshrouded is available now in early access on PC, but it'll soon be available, I believe, in October on across all platforms. So it's coming to consoles, but you can get it in early access on PC now. And let me tell you straight off the bat, this is an absolutely huge game. Even in early access, it's got a whole bunch of content, maybe even a little too much content. It is a really rich open world, and it's got so many elements to it that this game is going to keep you guys busy, believe me. There is something for everyone in this title. You are going to find something to do and get hooked into it. I've been playing it for quite a few hours, and as I got into it, I fell into the trap, which I always do, which is part of the reason why sometimes in these type of titles I'm sort of up and down, and that's because I can spend 50 hours just doing nothing. So I realized I was going down that path pretty quickly, and I sort of had to say, well, I'm taking a look at this for a reason. Let's play some of the objectives, do some of the quests, and see what the world really has to offer. And when I did that, the world really opened up to me. So happy to say that you're getting your money's worth even in early access with Enshrouded. The control scheme feels really good both on keyboard and on gamepad as well. It feels nice, it plays well, and I'm quite enjoying it. I'm sticking with controller actually at the moment. I'm finding that the best way to play it for me, and despite all of the gameplay styles that features in Enshrouded, I'm finding it sort of closest to Breath of the Wild slash Fortnite. That's sort of where I'd put it. So I'm sort of playing it like that, and I'm enjoying it in that kind of style. There's plenty here to do, so let's get stuck into some of the gameplay elements. First off, the graphics look pretty good. So if you're into a game like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, it's sort of got a similar graphic style with way better fidelity. It's a mixture between Breath of the Wild and Fortnite, and I think it looks pretty good. And the main advantage it has is you're not locked to 30 FPS. I also have to be pretty upfront that these are not usually the type of games that I seek out, apart from Zelda, which I'm sort of in on just from being an old man. But these aren't usually the games that I play. I'm a single player focused gamer. I like my linear titles and stuff like that, but I usually get usually one game like this gets it hooked into me, and I have like a quote unquote big game that I play for a long period of time. And I think Enshrouded is going to be that game for me for the next little while. So despite all the huge games that are coming out, I think this is the title that I'm going to be returning to again and again. So what is Enshrouded? You start in classical RPG style. You are a Flameborn, born of the flame in Embervale, no less. And you start with nothing but the jocks on your hips. So if that sounds familiar, well, there you go. And the goal of Enshrouded is to create and build a world for you to thrive and survive in. So as the story goes, your ancestors have used kind of magic, and they have tainted the world in what's called the Shroud. And it's a mushroom-like substance that is all spory and sort of smoky, and it's got that sort of feel to it. There's like mycelium like collecting everywhere, and the goal of the game is to sort of build and craft your little flame altars to help get rid of the Shroud. And it's a really cool system. When you go into it, you become enshrouded, and you've got like a timer, which is something that I'm not big on either, but it's sort of not the worst thing. It's you got a timer when you're in the Shroud where there's mushroom spores. You got to fight different types of enemies and clear the Shroud by finding the Shroud tree or the giant mushroom and get rid of it. And usually there's like a boss type character that's guarding it for you to defeat, and then you can access that part of the land. So you take that land back. So that's the general idea of Enshrouded. So as far as story goes, there's not really much holding it together. And that's probably one of the downsides to this game. There's not a lot of story holding it together. Don't expect to see epic action cutscenes or really nice rendered cutscenes or anything like that. It's all told throughout the game, throughout the there's books and things that you pick up, and you learn the story as you go through the game. So usually I'm one of those people that needs a bit more story to convince me to progress a bit further, but it's been okay in this game. I don't mind it too much. You get enough of the gist of it to to want to continue on. But that's not what they're going for here. They've got a huge world for you to explore and plenty of things to do. One of the main systems in Enshrouded is its building management system, which is quite comprehensive. It's sort of like Fortnite, but the open voxel world is really impressive in this game. And when you build something, it feels like it should be a part of the world, which is really fantastic. I've never really experienced it before. I don't have the most experience with this type of games, but I'm really impressed with how when you build if you build a wood lodge with you have to do in your in your little colonies. You build up a flame, and you make a sort of home base, and then you've got to fill it up with certain characters. So very early in the game, you're out there and you're saving other flameborns, like you're an alchemist, and you've got a blacksmith and things like that to help you on your way. So it's really complex, but it's also really easy to learn. I probably had a steeper learning curve than most people, but 7 to 10 hours in, and I felt like I was fully indoctrinated. So I knew what to do. I knew how to place all the items, and I was quite enjoying them far more than I do in games like Fortnite, where you're like panicking and rushing to put things together, and it doesn't look like it fits in the environment and things like that. But if you build a wood lodge and you're out in the woods, it looks like it should be there. If you extend ruins that are on the side of mountain face, it looks like it was intended to be that, and it's really impressive. I've never seen it really work like that in a game before, and I'm impressed with that system. Another system that I absolutely love is the rested system. So if you remain well rested, you get some perks, and you get extra stamina and things like that. So you've got sheltered, warm, and comfortable, and they're the three things that you've got to look after if you want to be well rested and get extra stamina and extra goodies and things like that. So that's a really good system, and it gives you an incentive to build. And what they do is the more you build up, the more that, so it can go up to like 200%, which is really good. So if you're struggling a bit, you can fast travel to your home base, really take some time and rest well, and then trek back out to engage in combat and things like that with a enemy that you're really struggling with some extra rested. And it can last for quite some time. I think the longest I had it was 26 minutes, I believe, but I've seen guys out there like up to an hour or so, with the extra perks that are available by maintaining your resting and your comfort levels and things like that. So it really incentivizes you to build, and that mechanic is just really fun. And it's sort of with the lack of story, it makes you sort of care about your character a little bit. So that's really one of the positive things. My little homie's running around, and you look and you see that he's cold, so you want to build a fire to make sure that he stays warm and things like that. So it plays a few little tricks on you to get you engaged into the game and using the mechanics. The other thing that I really love is that throughout all the mechanics I've seen, most of them are really intuitive and easy to use. Sometimes things can be complex, and in this game they certainly are. It's a quite complex game with a lot of systems in it, but they're easy to master. That's really important, and it was really one of the things that got me over the hump. So I got into sort of 10-15 hours, and I wasn't sure what I was getting, but once all the systems started to click, I was like, yeah, this is a good one. You've also got classical RPG elements. You get upgrade points, and you can put that to stealth, you can put that to fighting, speed, stamina, all that sort of things. So you've got a really complex skill tree, and you can't do everything on the skill tree. You have to make some choices, and so far I've racked up my stealth and my stamina, and really looked at being able to survive. So I'm playing like a sort of warrior melee type, but and now I'm trying to branch it out into sort of rogue like sort of character. So you can do all different sorts of builds, and it's just the complexity is all there and you can see it, but it's really easy to use. You can also use some of your flame-born elements and your altars to reset. You collect runes and you're able to reset your skill tree and start again. So you're not actually tied in to one path, and it's really good because when I say this game is big, I'm telling you, there is plenty to do. I got lost in this game just trying out all the different types of elements and trying out all the different crafting, building all the weapons and things like that, and really had a good time doing it. I will also say that this game most reminds me of Breath of the Wild. You have the stamina wheel there, but unlike Breath of the Wild, Enshrouded is really generous with its stamina and things like that. So right off the bat, I didn't feel like I was disadvantaged straight away, and that I was like sort of stuck with no stamina to get where I needed to go. You're still able to do all the things that you want to do quite early on in the game, and I really appreciated that. It's very similar to Breath of the Wild in other ways. It's got the all the weaponry and things like that damageable, but thankfully in this game they're easily repairable, and again they're quite generous, so you don't feel like you're being put out, and you can go back and you can regenerate your favorite sword and things like that, and you've got your all the different people that become a part of your community to help you out with crafting and the blacksmith and all that sort of stuff. So it's really cool in that regard, where you don't feel like that stuff holds you back. Made me drop off Tears of the Kingdom for that reason. So I'm really glad to see that in Enshrouded, it gives you enough to make you want to progress. It doesn't, without that story bringing you forward, it's the ability to progress through your crafting and the complex mechanics of the game that are simple to use that make you want to progress forward. When I say you can create all different things, believe me, you've got to house all your NPCs that help you along your journey in different spaces, and you can build like castles. You can build full moats and things like that. I'm really no good at this sort of stuff. It's not my type of game that I would usually play. So I've just got rudimentary 4 walls going up with a roof, but I've seen some people creating like whole worlds. They're creating like states and territories and things like that with castles and houses and all sorts of things. The complexity is absolutely mind-boggling, and the voxel-based engine is just absolutely terrific, and it really looks like it is a part of the game. It looks like the developers intended it to be there, and I'm really impressed by that. And maybe I'm showing that I'm not a regular gamer of these types of games, but I have really enjoyed seeing that, hey, my little blacksmith shack really looks like it should be part of the environment. So it's absolutely huge, and the only limit is your imagination. Another really good thing about it is it's not like you can do the tools. You can go really micro or macro depending on what you want to do. So you've got 4 walls with a window in it, and you can put it there, and there's your window wall, or you can like go block by block, sort of like Minecraft style, and create it exactly the way you want it. So I'm really glad for that, because I find that it's not my favorite thing to do, and again, I'm the type of player that I was like, all right, I'll start with the most tiny blocks. Well, hours in, I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do this. I just want to slap 4 walls together, and I can do that. So really thankful that the developers sort of thought of everyone in that instance. You also have to craft all your weapons and things like that, and you've got a number of tools that you can use. So first off, I found that the grappling hook and the glider were really important, particularly for enjoying the getting over the first hump of the game, so the game could get its hook in me. Once I was able to get my hands on those items, I was able to explore the world more freely. It really opens things up, so I would strongly suggest that when you start, sort of part of the tutorial, that you follow the quest to really build up your inventory to be able to explore, because I spent too much time ignoring that and just discovering the systems, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get into this game, but once I did, it really opened things up for me. So play the quests at the start, get to learn the environment, and you'll be on your way to weeding through the fog, discovering dungeons, crafting all sorts of weapons, building all the tools you need to harvest the voxel world in front of you. So for instance, you can get a pickaxe and you can climb up a mountain, and if you don't want to go up, you can start picking and go through it. It's got that kind of system. So the more that you learn and build and craft and gather your allies around you, the more you'll be equipped to really open the world up, which is really fantastic for me. All right, so let's talk about some of the things that need a little bit of polish, or things that I wasn't so hot on. So one of the things for me was the Souls-like elements of the game. So the action RPG sort of style of the game, the fighting style of the game, it's fun, it's intuitive. Is it Elden Ring? No, but it's fun enough. And what's really good is the enemy types are really varied. So as you traverse, you will run into a whole bunch of enemies, whether it be enshrouded sort of mushroom-like creatures, spiders. You've got sort of goblins and things like that, and that's just to name a few. There's a whole different bunch of enemies types, but it does have like a Souls-like type of action element where there's a lot of dodging and parrying, and your stamina plays a huge part into it, which I'm quite adept at that type of game and gameplay style. I'll smash through Elden Ring and stuff like that, but I don't believe that this is a strong point in this game. I think you want to be able to just go and enjoy the weapons and fight them. So while I found myself going to enemies to get engaged, when I did that, I was oftentimes not rewarded for my efforts, because I would die and I would be sent back to my home base, and I would have to trek back to the location I died to pick up my backpack and things like that, and start all over again. So the Souls-like elements are not my favorite to Enshrouded, but they work good enough. So I'm sure that there's a ton of people out there that are going to enjoy that element the most. Unfortunately for me, it's not my favorite. I sort of I want to play that game when I know I'm in to be punished and I'm gonna cop it. I want to play that type of game, but when you're playing an open world action RPG with all these elements, unfortunately that was the least favorite of all the new systems that you're engaging with in Enshrouded. But again, there's so much stuff here that you can completely avoid enemy types and go on a stealth route and just focus on your building and crafting and things like that. So again, it's really flexible in the way you want to play this game. Now, again, there's a couple of other things that weren't so hot for me. Some things that I noticed is like some of the character movements are pretty generic. Like when you jump, particularly when you're not armored up and stuff like that, it feels really generic and sort of airy and lightness, I will say. When you equip a torch when you go into a dungeon or whatever, your character doesn't hold them up, he just holds it down in a generic stance. So stuff like that I wasn't crash hot on. I don't know if the developers are actively looking at that, but that took me out of it a little bit. Like immediately you jump into a game, you know, learning the control screen, you do a couple of jumps, and I was like, that's a little bit basic to me. So if you're expecting Zelda with the fire shading and stuff like that as you're holding it up going through a dungeon, you don't have that here, but it's not the worst thing in the world, and there's still plenty of time for that to be improved upon. There's also a couple of different like RPG elements that I would expect to be in the game that aren't yet. So as an example, long press on the start button to bring up the map. You press it, and because there's so many different gameplay elements in here, you're forever cycling through different menus and systems that you need to, I'm used to the long press and the map comes up like every other game. I want to be able to hold down and have a look at the map, see where I'm going, find a waypoint, or fast travel access without having to think about it. There's also storage is not my favorite thing in this game either. Where I am at the moment, I can only craft small little boxes to store things, and what I really like is you don't get encumbered, so that's a really good thing. But you've always got too much stuff, and you always need everything. So it's really it really slows me down trying to prioritize and try to figure out what I need and can come back for, and all that sort of stuff, particularly when you need it. So I'm always finding myself like, I've got to go out and find tree fibers because I want to make more boxes to store more stuff. So that's a big element of the game. I wish it was a little bit easier, or you had more storage capacity to just go. I wouldn't suggest that developers make it too easy, but a tiny bit more convenient would be where I'd be happy with. Currently, I'm playing this game single player mode, so I'm in my own little world, just doing my own thing at my own place, and that isn't the way that the developers have intended this game to be played. This is a co-op game that is seen to be best played with a bunch of friends jumping into the world. So if you're interested in this game, I will create a world that we can all engage in. So let me know in the comments down below if you're playing Enshrouded and you're down for playing with me. I'll create a little world for us all to convene in, and we can build and share and do all that cool stuff. So I'm looking forward to test that out. If you want to join in, and maybe we'll do a couple of streams and we'll get your guys' thoughts on how the game is, let me know in the comments down below, and I'd be more than happy to do that with you guys. You can also go online with strangers and get into worlds and stuff like that. There's also been a few issues with latency and server times and connecting and things like that, but I believe the developers Keen have really been working hard to resolve any of those minor issues, and they've also really been really good at updating the community, keeping the Steam page up to date, letting us know what's going on and what they're doing. So there's been a couple of updates and things going on, but the communication has been exemplary from King Games. So that's really good to see too. So my impressions are coming from my single player campaign. I'm really enjoying it that way, and I also believe that the Steam community has been feeding that back to Keen Games as well, that they want to enjoy their single player games as well, and they're listening to that. So there's multiple ways to play this game. It's very complex and it is massive. So even if you're purchasing it at on Steam in early access, you're getting a ton of content. I can't stress that enough. You will not feel like you haven't got your money's worth if you're looking to purchase Enshrouded. If you've liked any of the content here, please give me a like, share, or subscribe. And watching the videos really helps me out too, guys. I'd really appreciate it. If you want to join me in playing Enshrouded in a server, I can create one for you. Let me know in the comments down below if you're currently playing Enshrouded and you want to get in on the action. Let me know. I've really had fun with my time with Enshrouded, and I think it's going to be one of those games that stays with me for quite some time. So you might be hearing a couple of this. We may even review it closer to release date. So look out for that content on Computer Games Hardware. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Thank you very much for watching. As usual, I've really enjoyed making this one. I hope you've enjoyed watching it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you next time.